Okay. Hi, friends. Long time no see. And since then, so much happened. We kind of start fresh without a recap today, since the last episode was basically only that and didn't really raise a new topic I could add to. Something new that's especially important for people who see me on YouTube. Hi. Is that today's episode is the 14th episode ever. So there is a lot of spicy stuff to catch up on if you're okay with only the audio on Spotify. But this is also the very first episode I took a video of to upload on YouTube for you guys. So yeah, I gave my best with my makeup, natural makeup, and my hair, and the lighting to look as presentable as possible. And because I don't want to have this intro to be too long for YouTube, I know people don't like that. I'll just start with the episode. And I don't want this sunlight to go away because it's already like 7 p.m. and the sun sets around 8, so I have to hurry. So yeah, to explain to the ones who don't know me, probably many of you, hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm a German university student who sometimes chills in New York with her long distance boyfriend, which is a lot cooler than just saying it by the way. I mean, no, I don't want to say I'm cool, but for me, it means a lot, if you get what I mean. I hope that came across. We're in a long distance relationship, and I'll very likely move there temporarily this year, which will be exciting but stressful, but exciting, mostly hopefully. I don't know. Yeah. And besides that, I have many passions like fashion. Some people would say this is ugly. I think it's stylish. It's from a German YouTuber, Justin, and his brand Peso. Some people know that. And I also love music. And many people would probably say that one of my passions is talking a lot. So I do talk a lot and I do like talking. So I thought just starting a podcast is perfect. So that's what I'm doing here. In the first episodes, I talked about like heavy struggles of my past and what I learned from them and how I got stronger through them. And in the newer episodes, I continue to talk about my struggles, but more on a daily basis. And also have more social criticism than in the first episodes. I started studying psychology and then focused more on business psychology, so I don't have that much psychological knowledge anymore, or will have it in my studies, but I will still have some, and I already had some, so I'll probably have some psychological facts and insights here and there, but I also don't want this to sound like a lecture, and I don't want this to be too strict and boring. I want this to be more like, a chill, deep talk with a friend. And I often feel like I'm the only one who's talking. So, yeah, it's basically just like that right here. And I said that in the first episodes already, but I'll just quickly inform you that I'm a very chaotic and weird person, if you get what I mean. And also brutally honest. So be prepared for some controversial or unpopular opinions. And I always try my best to be as respectful and friendly and objective as I can be, but it's not always possible. We're all human beings. So, yeah. I also have an appointment to either get or not get diagnosed with ADHD in a few months. So, just don't mind me forgetting my sentence in the middle of it or just switching topics. Oh my god. In one of the past episodes, I also said toppings. I don't know why I always say that. Topics. And other stuff that is what ADHD people do. I don't even know if you can generalize it so much, but yeah. I also always write a script, and that's probably weird for you that I'm looking at you and looking down and looking at you and looking down. I also need to make sure the recording on it was Anchor before, but I think now it's Spotify Creator or something. Also always write a script, which I read off here, which might seem a bit weird. probably more on YouTube than on Spotify, because I always did it in the last episodes in Spotify and you can't see me look down. But yeah, I love to be prepared and not miss a single thing about the stuff I want to talk about. And I just need a strict agenda and longer bullet points and basically whole sentences, or else I just drift off and spontaneously just talk about any random topic and just don't get back to my point and forget it. And yeah, I could find a new topic every, like, after finishing every sentence, you know? So yeah, that's important to really control the information I share and not overshare and not forget my point and not have it be very, very chaotic. Because if you, for example, look at the episode with my boyfriend, there is one very exciting, but a bit different. It was nice, but a lot less structured, because I just said, okay, let's just improvise. And yeah, maybe it was not as enjoyable for some of you, maybe it was, but for me, I think it was not ideal. So yeah, in the end, my name here is Almanac, not with an A at the end, but with a Y, because I'm from Germany, so I'm an Alman. I'm really an Alman. Even if I wouldn't be from Germany, I would be. And I have a connection to New York City, obviously. And Almanac also is an old word for calendar, so I love to have an agenda. I think you get the drill. Yeah. About the recording thing, it's possible that I'm stopping the recording at some point, because I don't know how much data, storage, whatever I have, no, not data, storage I have on my tablet, because I am recording this with my tablet. I don't have a camera. And I will record approximately like 30 to 45 minutes of this. Maybe it was more at some point. It was nearly 2 hours at some point. So that is a lot, especially if it's a video. And I don't know if at some point I just need to stop this and do it again, but we'll see. And I just hope it just doesn't get deleted if people on Spotify hear me talk about a video and this video doesn't even exist. Then yeah, that's what happened, but we just won't hope this happens. I hope I didn't jinx it. Anyway, I'll continue. I think that's enough exposition for everyone, and yeah, for the new ones especially. And I think I can start picking you all up, also the ones who already know me, where I left you a few weeks ago before I took my first break ever, because I needed one. And yeah, that was because back then I needed to prepare myself to move out. My boyfriend was here too, and right before moving out, we also traveled to Berlin for some days. So it was just very stressful and chaotic. And a stressful and chaotic person plus stressful and chaotic situation is not good. Yeah, the moving already happened by now, obviously. And I left the city. I moved to study elementary school teaching. I know I said psychology. I only studied that for 2 semesters, so decided to study something else, but I'll get to that maybe in the future. I think I already got to that in the last episodes, so just listen. And yeah, there I studied elementary school teaching for 2 semesters, and I lived in a shared flat with 2 flatmates. Now I went back to live with my mom and my stepdad and study remotely at a private university to make my dream come true of being a psychologist. I wanted to be a pure psychologist and preferably a therapist, but yeah, laws didn't make it easy. Also, relationship didn't make it easy. So I also think it's a better match to end up working in business and the economy. So I switched to business psychology, and I can still be a psychologist, just a business psychologist, and I might even make more money. So I don't know. Hope it's not the worst decision of my life. It feels good though, so yeah. And to talk about the circumstances of studying in Germany quickly, here university is basically free, and you only pay like 300 euros per semester, so twice a year, and that's mostly for public transport, so you even get something out of it. And basically don't pay anything for studying. And I chose to pay like 350 euros per month instead of a semester to purely study at this private university. And I think and hope it was worth it. I only studied there for a few months by now, but it feels good. My gut tells me it's the right decision. And for many of you who are from the US, it's probably not a big deal. Like 300 a month, that's nothing. You pay like 10,000s to study, but here it is. And yeah, I'm happy about it. But I think I pronounced that. No, emphasized. The English language has a lot of nice words. I think emphasized that enough. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, if you want to know more about it, more about my reasons and the process of changing and everything and the mental breakdowns of changing, then just listen to the old episodes. And yeah, that living situation with my former flatmates and now my mom and stepdad again is the topic I want to talk about today and everything that has to do with it. And it is and was always a difficult topic. And the time in the shared flat made me learn a lot about myself, which I'll tell you, and grow as a person, which is, basically what I want to teach in this podcast. This is basically my mission I want to follow. And I want to teach you, or at least show you with my example how to do it, and take you on a journey with me of improving and learning constantly and experiencing life. And trial and error also have some struggles in it. That's always important. And you all know the saying, you learn most out of mistakes, right? So I know that one of my old flatmates listens to this podcast too, or at least listened. And I want to thank her openly and hope I don't say anything wrong and upset her with anything, because at the end of our time together, our relationship was not the best, unfortunately. And I don't want to go into much detail about it, but I really, really liked spending time with you. And if you hear this, then I thank you for the nice time. And I know it was not always easy to live with me, so I'm sorry. To explain why I say that, I need to go back to my childhood, which is far away. But for me, moving was something nearly daily, if you can say so, as a child, because we moved already like 3 times till I was 11. I went to 3 different kindergartens, and then I moved another time, which was actually leaving my home and my mom and my stepdad and moving together with my brother as I was 17. And then I moved again as I was 20 to study, and then just a few weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, to move again now, and I'll move again in a few months. So moving is something that happens a lot for me. I think moving, actually I didn't write this down, but moving made me always feel like I don't really have a safe place in the world, and just, I don't know, didn't feel like I have a home. I always hop from one place to another, and it made me feel less safe. And unlike other people who can just know I get home whenever I want to, there's a room for me, there's maybe my childhood obsessions, my school stuff, my pictures, and for me, while moving, so much disappeared. So I don't know. I would love to just give my children, if I end up having some, which I plan, a home they can just always come back to. But I guess everyone would like that, or many people would like that. We'll see how that turns out. Maybe in that moment I'll still record podcasts, so maybe you can follow me with that. But sharing content about children is not the best. So we're not there yet. It probably takes like 10 years till that happens. So you see, I already have a script and I still forget my point. Or not forget my point, but go somewhere else. Anyway, people who know the other episodes know that my dad died as I was very young. And my mom, who I really love, was just not there and worked a lot. So my brothers, who I also really love a lot, and I really had to take care of the household by ourselves. And yeah, I did laundry, cooked, and similar things a lot earlier than 17 already because I needed to. And had to teach myself a lot about it. And with that, I think it's kind of inevitable to not learn everything someone else who grew up with parents who taught them everything learned, right? That I just learn everything that's necessary, but maybe not everything that's like socially required to not be seen as weird. I don't know if you get what I mean. Yeah. Forgot my point again. That might happen many times, though I just need to read it off. But besides our family not being known for being super tidy, I was also used to oh my god. Okay. Sometimes I write down stuff that doesn't make sense. But I think what I wanted to say is I was used to big piles, big amounts of things of different kinds just laying around, and it not being tidy, not being organized at home, and yeah, just our sinks, toilets, dishwashers, bathtubs, whatever, just not being the cleanest. Maybe that's also something that's normal for most people, and I just got in touch with people who were very, very clean, but I got the feeling that we were not how we should have been. And yeah, as I moved out with my brother, both of us only knew the bare minimum of tidiness, about tidiness. So we were fine with it in our new place because we only had the two of us. So we were fine with it because we were used to that. And as I then moved into a new shared home, I was forced to get used to cleaning more often. We switched, and every week someone else cleaned the kitchen and the bathroom. And I got used to cleaning the dishes immediately after using them because we didn't have a dishwasher. And yeah, I just had a lot to do and a lot to learn. And I was forced to do it, but I'm happy I learned it because I don't know, it's something necessary, I guess. And how can I teach my children if I don't know how to do it, right? And I don't want my children to have those interactions of being viewed as weird people. Of course, society saying someone's weird is not right all the time, but you can still avoid conflicts, I guess. And yeah, I also mentioned in former episodes that as I was forced to burn myself out or have a burnout due to sleep deprivation, as I was in my final year, I went into the bathroom to shower at like 3 a.m. in the morning, and did that on a regular basis with music and everything, which was obviously annoying and too loud in the middle of the night. And yeah, especially because I listened to music. And my mom and others did complain about the noise back then, but once I lived with my brother and he spent a lot of time in his girlfriend's, she's not part of my family officially yet, though I would say she's very close to me. Yeah, he slept at her place a lot, so I was basically home alone all the time. And no one cared if I was loud because no one was there, right? So, yeah. And as I then went to the shared home, I kept showering late as well, just like the other things I was used to, and listened to music or cooked, not super silently at like 10 p.m. And that was obviously annoying, and I didn't realize till someone mentioned it. So I changed all those things. And next to the missing tidiness, I was told to work on it and be more attentive in like different parts of life in general, because also my two flatmates are early birds, so they get up early. So me being a night owl is difficult because I shouldn't be too loud in the evening. Though I stay up for a few hours, they don't, so I should pay attention to that. And by now, I totally get their point and get why they were mad at me and feel stupid for not realizing immediately, but it's just not easy to break a habit you kept doing for years, and never knew it was wrong. So, I mean, everyone who hears this probably thinks, how can you not realize it's wrong? But I don't know. I didn't, but now I did. And yeah. Anyway, yeah. I worked on everything though. And I wasn't perfect with everything, but a lot better than before. And due to those tidiness and noise problems and other small things, I can totally get why living with me was not the most pleasant thing someone can imagine. And yeah, besides that, I also didn't vibe perfectly with my other flatmate, who vibed very well with a flatmate. I vibed very well, so it was a bit difficult. And yeah, it was just a difficult situation. And I don't want you to get me wrong. It's not like I hate the person or I say the person is bad or anything. But we were just not on the same wavelength. And I think you know people like that too, who just don't fit to your character, just doesn't fit. And yeah, we had nice talks and some nice times, but we just didn't fit and didn't become like very close friends. Unlike my other flatmate and her, and myself and my other flatmate, or my other flatmate and myself, we're in Germany. Never have the donkey call himself first or mention himself first. I don't know how to translate that, but Germans know what I'm talking about. Der Esel nennt sich immer zuerst. Yeah, that by itself, them liking each other, only one of them. I don't even know if the other one liked me, but I know it was obvious that our vibe was not perfect, So yeah, it was not necessarily bad if that was the only thing that was going on, and it was kind of handleable, manageable. But I'm also a weird and I would say abnormal person to live with, and that's mostly due to my pretty introverted tendencies, I would say. And yeah, that became a problem because on the one hand, I constantly felt watched and had like less freedom because we also had very thin walls. And whenever I wanted to go into the bathroom, or whenever I wanted to, not whenever, but most of the time when I wanted to do those things, go into the kitchen, someone someone else was there. And yeah, it made me feel like I was limited in my freedom, and me being very sensitive, it made it difficult to fully relax. And only on the rare days, as I was all by myself, I could. And most of the time, I just felt stressed and pressured. And yeah, that already made it difficult for others to have me be like easygoing around them because I just wasn't. I just wasn't relaxed. And yeah, I felt pressured because of the constant social interaction I needed to have, right? So yeah, on the other hand, next to me feeling stressed due to the lack of privacy and constant interaction, my introversion also, of course, meant I didn't join many activities in our flat, and other introverts will probably know how it is to indeed really enjoy spending time with others, but also really needing a lot of time to themselves, right? And to relax and just reflect. And my two flatmates were both a lot more extroverted though, so they spent time together nearly every day. They watched series, they renovated the kitchen, they went for a walk, they just talked so much, and of course grew closer. And that, yeah, they became close friends, and I just couldn't catch up because if I would have forced myself to spend time with them every day, I would have been unhappy. And that's nothing to say due to me like hating them, but I think people get that. People who are introverted or know introverted people get that. It's just difficult. And yeah, I think my other flatmate knew and still knows I was not getting along with her because I knew, and I mean, if I knew, she probably knew. So both of us just tried to like coexist. We didn't hate on each other. There were some conflicts, but we just tried to coexist and talk whenever it's necessary, and that was okay. It was not ideal, but it kind of worked somehow. And my other flatmate I really, really still like a lot, I think is a very loyal person though. So she stuck to her and I think started to think less of me. I don't know if that is the case, but yeah, I felt like it, and at the end there were so many things that were just very unfortunate between my other flatmate and me, since she moved into my old room, and I admit that I effed some things up. I know on YouTube you also have to pay attention to what you say, what words you use, but I had some things I did and said that were not ideal just because I was constantly stressed, also stressed due to money and stuff. And yeah, it was difficult, but I never intentionally did any harm to my befriended flatmate, I had that conflict with the other flatmate, but I never meant to do anything that could have harmed our friendship. And yeah, while I think I never did anything like that and never wanted to harm our friendship, I think she said she didn't like what happened at the end. And in that moment, I felt like I didn't do anything to you. I don't know, I think I don't want to say anything bad, right? But I think she's just very loyal and sticks to one side. And yeah, like I said, I never meant to do anything that could do harm to her friendship. And from what I know, at least, she didn't really have a concrete reason to like be mad at me. But whatever. It was just an unfortunate situation. I don't want bad blood at all, so I also don't know what will happen in the future, and maybe the friendship will get stronger again, right? I think people say distance makes the heart grow fonder or something like that. That would have been a good song. Okay, no. We'll see what happens with the song thing. But yeah. Like I said, I really enjoyed our friendship, so I would be happy to be good with each other and continue the friendship. And we'll see what happens with that. If you listen to this, that's my offer. And with anything I say, like I said, I don't want to upset you. I just try to like state how it was and how I felt. And yeah, that was basically my time in this flat. And there were definitely enjoyable moments, but at the same time, at the end, everything kind of just fell apart and ended in a mess, like I already said. And I know I had a lot of things I needed to work on, and it was not an easy flatmate to have with me. Yeah, but I really, really try to work on myself. And I honestly also mentioned some things I didn't love, and while some of them were partially fixed, especially from one of the sides, I mean, maybe you can already guess. Maybe it's just because we were so different people. And from one of the sides, I just felt like ignored heavily, and I was directly said into my face that some things won't be changed because they're not important to that person, which is fine. Creates more conflicts, but whatever. Yeah, so it was probably mostly me being difficult to handle, but definitely not only my mistake. And yeah, I tried my best to fix the issues, but I also know since I felt constantly stressed and pressured, I was not in my ideal state of like creating harmony, But yeah. Anyway, like I said, I really don't want bad blood. Just try to subjectively explain it. I know there's always some emotion in it, and it was a very stressful and unfortunate time, but like I said, I don't hate any of those. I think right now the situation is a lot better, the relationship is a lot better, so yeah. I already feel like the distance and the privacy I got made me feel so much happier already. And That's not meant to be hurtful to say, oh, I feel happy without you, but that's how I feel. And I think probably many introverts know how it feels too. So anyway, I'm a very sensitive person, which I think I said a few sentences ago too. And I do pay attention to a lot of details. And I would say I also have a pretty sharp like hearing and senses in general. So I heard every conversation in the hallway. I smelled every meal that was going on. I heard when someone was in the bathroom. I realized when someone took my stuff. I realized when someone moved my stuff. So that's something that's inevitable too, and it happened. And most of the time it's not a big deal, but I don't know. Maybe I also have autistic tendencies. I'm not diagnosed, so I can't say I'm autistic, but I love to have my things stand exactly where they stand. If someone moves them and like destroys the order I had, then I get mad. And maybe that's OCD. I don't know. I'm starting to study psychology, and I probably won't even get to that part, but I think those words kind of apply. Like I said, I'm not diagnosed. So yeah, all those small things I recognize were just constantly stressing me out even more and made me angry. And yeah, I know I had more things to work on. Like I said, I have so many weird characteristics that are maybe not ideal for living with others. And those things might make you feel like I'm a control freak. Maybe I am. I don't know. That's also a term people throw around a lot and kind of inflationally, I would say. But yeah, I just can't help but be sensitive and pay attention to all those details. So that was also something that was really difficult. And after all that stressful stuff I told you, I do believe that in general, everyone who plans to share a flat to learn something from it and not only tell you about all the stressful time. I think people who live together in a shared flat, anyone, even if you're easygoing, at some point it will get difficult and it won't be super easy all the time. Because spending like nearly 24 hours every day together can cause even close friends to argue sometimes. And that is okay, but you need to be aware of it. And if specific things like a daily schedule or basic values or goals, like with basic values, I don't mean like I am not racist and they are. I think we shared those values, but some like goals in life and stuff were not the same, at least with one of the people. And yeah, if the more stuff that's different, the more difficulty exists, right? The more conflicts exist. And yeah, the living situation will feel heated at some point sooner or later, and that is normal and okay. But what is very important, and we did that from time to time, is to openly communicate and just talk about it. And like that, you can fix most of the problems easily. And yeah, like I said, if two people are just too different to each other, it might get difficult and you can't fix anything even if you communicate. So if it's not working out, you should also realize if you try your best to leave, because that just creates unhappiness for both sides, you know? Yeah. I mean, I think I said it like 5 times in the part where I talked about it, but I felt constantly pressured and just unhappy in that housing situation. And I was really glad to give you some bright outcome. Really glad to have the chance to leave and move back to my mom and my stepdad's house and have more privacy here with a lot more space, with 2 kitchens and 2 bathrooms, and just a lot more freedom, and just all those things I mentioned being fixed, you know, or mostly fixed, I would say. Also having like a parking spot right in front of the house and not needing to walk like 5 to 10 minutes. So that is very, very nice. And it's still not the perfect situation, I would say, but I do feel happier right now because in one of the first episodes listen to it if you don't know yet. I told you about the difficult relationship with my stepdad. So the decision to move to him was not the easiest. And at the same time, I remember that the reasons for most of the conflicts back then was me not being tidy and me being too noisy, especially at night. And like I told you, I was forced to work on those anyway. So I mostly fixed them by now, and I think I'm a lot easier to be around than back then. And those reasons for conflicts disappeared. Yeah, I also was younger and more stubborn back then, and by now I grew into a, I think, mostly responsible and definitely polite or more polite person and adult. And having time away, like I said, makes the heart grow fonder. I don't know if I would say that in that situation too, but having some time away from my stepdad for those years also made our relationship better and less heated. Like I said, I think if you live with anyone, the situation will be heated at some point. And if you don't fit together, then it will probably constantly be difficult. So yeah, now I live here. We're fine with each other for now, and didn't have any bigger conflicts yet. He seems to be chill with me. I am happy with the situation too. So yeah, I am fine with him, and I don't want conflict, but I still criticize him because he preferred his own children over us all the time. And yeah, he made us feel basically worthless in comparison to them. And yeah, we were young, and that didn't help, like also in one of the older episodes, to create confidence. But yeah, like I said, I was younger, and by now I know why he did that, or I think I know why he did that. Because he tried to feel more confident by making us feel worse. That's something bullies do too. Also, an episode on that. Yeah, I have many episodes you can listen to. And yeah, he was just insecure, you know? He wanted to feel more confident by making us feel insecure. And I gained confidence within the last years, like I said. Listen to the episode. And by now, I don't hate him anymore. And I know I am mentally stronger, and I feel kind of sad for him instead of hating him. And yeah, he's still easy to talk to and is like helpful most of the time at least. So living here for the last 17 days was actually quite pleasant. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like I understand him more, you know, and understand where his anger comes from and know how to handle it. That's something you learn, understanding yourself and others, in therapy. So anyone who wants to go there, do it. I know in Germany it's difficult, and in the US it's not cheap, but if you really need it, then it's obviously very necessary. Yeah, but that is that. Now I'm here. I will stay in my cute small village here and stay in Germany for some time till I can be with my boyfriend, and move to New York. At first for only 90 days. 90 days fiance, if anyone knows that. We're not fiancés, but I can still only stay 90 days due to the visa. And then we'll see where our relationship goes. We're already together for like nearly 3 years, so it should go somewhere at some point. I know he listens to this too. I know I pressure you way too much, but I want specific changes to happen. And I think being a long distance relationship for 3 years makes you understand why. But anyway, that's something we need to talk about in private. So yeah, if you want to know where this goes, if you want to know how our long distance relationship went in the last months and years as well, you can also listen to those episodes, those older episodes. In one, he actually talks to me. But you can also check out my Instagram, where I also uploaded some content about us, which is Jenny from the blog, and all the O's, the 2 O's, are zeros, and the G at the end is not a CK, so it's a blog, not a block. So yeah, you can follow my reels there, and no, not follow my reels. Look at my reels, maybe like them, and you can follow my stories and the process of moving. I'm definitely gonna post there, and yeah, our life there in general, and my life in general, and think about sharing some vlog content here for maybe half of you, or maybe only one person on YouTube as well. But we'll see where this goes. And yeah, the last bit I want to talk about is introversion, and it's a difficult topic. I mean, I already said it didn't make my life a lot easier. Didn't make it easier at all, I think. And I think it's a lot less common to be introverted in society. And for most people, or many people, it's associated with being like a weird person without friends who never goes outside. And I do have a lot of friends. And yeah, I might be a bit weird, but that doesn't mean being introverted is necessarily something very bad. And if you're unsure what introversion actually means, I think most of you probably know, but it has to do with the big 5 personality traits and is the opposite of extroversion, which means being outgoing, loving to be around people, and needing the social contact to like charge your battery. And the other way around, as an introvert, I would say I am actually outgoing, but with new people, more hesitant and observing. And while I like spending time with people, I really need a lot of privacy, like I said, and time to myself to think, reflect, and let that charge my battery by being myself, being with myself and only with myself, and just in solitude. While I quickly feel exhausted if I'm around people for too long. I was at a seminar for 3 weeks, and I told them every few days, please give me some hours of just me time. It's really intense sometimes. And yeah, I think while others who are more extroverted and love to have action all the time, to not feel boredom and not overthink or whatever, my mind is so full of ideas and vivid images, maybe due to potential ADHD. So I can often just sit down by myself and feel entertained just by myself, or by some content I consume, and then like think about it and reflect on it. And sometimes it's just binge watching. We all know that too, but yeah, I'm very happy with just being by myself. And I know many people need others to give them advice and like a solution for problems, and that happens with me too every once in a while, of course. But I think what mostly happens is that I get into deep thinking by myself and understand the problem while I think about it, and then come up with a solution. And if I talk to others, it's mostly me presenting like what I thought about my process, my outcome of that thinking process, and wanting to know their opinion. Or often also, while I explain myself to others, I already come up with a solution by myself just by talking about it. So yeah, being with others is great, like I said, but I think for me it's just less important to, and less frequently needed for me than for others, which doesn't mean I don't like it. I love all of my friends, but I think you know what I want to say. And yeah, having additional exciting happenings every day would just probably overwhelm me all the time, and did in some situations. So yeah, make me feel more stressed instead of enjoying at that point. So fine with some actions like once or twice a month. So that is okay. And yeah, I think with that strong introverted personality, I did feel like my introversion was not really taken seriously in the past in different situations. But at the same time, overall, I'm not sad about my experience of living in this shared flat. And even the worst experience, which this experience was not, I mean, there were a lot worse experiences. For example, being paranoid due to the consumption of something that made me feel paranoid in New York City, or being bullied, losing my dad. There were things that were a lot worse. Being depressed was something very heavy. But this experience was also not the best. So I still think it made me learn about myself, the things I told you already. And I think if it's not life-threatening, you should just give every situation a try, even if you're afraid and think it won't work. I mean, if it's just logic that it won't work, then don't do it. But with a lot of things, you can learn a lot about yourself. And yeah, I learned how important privacy is for me, and that an apartment by myself, or at least with more freedom and more privacy and with people I get along with very well, is important for me to feel happy. And it's been only about 2 weeks, but I can already tell you that I feel happier here. So it seems to be really true. And for sharing an apartment with my boyfriend, I know it is helpful that we share similar values, goals, interests, food choices, also sleep schedules, which is a big thing, like I said, and in general, have an excellent way of communication and are just on the same wavelength. So yeah, there might be some small conflicts, of course, like I said, but I'm very sure we can quickly solve them, and I'm just very excited. So, guys, we already reached the end of the actual content of this week's episode, and I want to tell you about some exciting developments. Oops, I'm leaving the screen. I feel happy that within a time I took a break from the podcast, I managed to work a bit on my social media presence. I admit I'm not fully, or not really at all, satisfied with my first content on YouTube. The snippets of the old podcast episodes didn't reach anyone yet, but I think the algorithm also doesn't like that like serious, deep content. But yeah, just need to keep improving my skills and get better at those things over time, and I think it's fine. I mean, like I said, we all need to grow and learn and get better, and yeah, like I said, plan to also post more content about moving, about like vlogging in general, moving to the US, a long distance relationship, but also traveling in general, and yeah, vlogs of whatever can happen, whatever we experience every once in a while, not too often. But could also see myself posting other stuff like singing or comedy or other creative projects. So yeah, if you're interested to see how that turns out, or if anything happens, I'm very sure something happens, I don't know what, then you can subscribe to my podcast on Spotify, which is blank, all in caps, Love, Studies, and Other Struggles. And you can also follow me here on YouTube, Almanac, ALMANYC. It's not the exact same alphabet as in German, or the pronunciation, but yeah, you can follow me there if you want. And besides that, to talk about my goals for the future, I also need to get my bottom up and not only work on the social media stuff, which is nice, but nothing for my actual future, professional future. And I need to get more productive with university for sure. And it's hard to change locations and get used to like being productive again that quickly, but I really need to. And I mean, I'm doing this podcast right now, so I can get productive. I just need to kick my own bottom. And yeah, for more productivity, I'll try to create a routine, waking up at the same time, eating at the same time, being productive and doing stuff for university at the same time, and also going to the gym more often. So that's something I'll try, and I might get hard to get used to another routine once I move to the US and have like another situation, but I will try my best and make the best out of it, and you'll be able to follow me there and see how I'll fail, but also learn and hopefully get better sooner or later. And yeah, can just witness how that works out for me. And to be more productive, I also try to not consume that many reels and shorts anymore, because a short dopamine hit, if you follow studies, I didn't read them, but there are studies, very likely, I don't want to lie, but yeah, it's not good. You feel less happy. Constantly having dopamine hit your brain means you don't have that much to actually feel happy when you want to, right? So it makes you feel less happy, and I don't want to consume that much anymore. And prefer longer content, like longer videos of several minutes, like 30 minutes instead of 60 seconds, and learn or keep knowing how to focus on something that's longer than 60 seconds. And I also want to read more before bed, which I already mentioned around New Year's, which is a few months ago, but we'll see how that works out. So I don't know. Okay, 50 minutes the episode. I need to hurry. 10 minutes till I need to stop the recording at former Anchor. Yeah, we're nearly at the end for real right now. Maybe you can see I need to pee. Oh my god, I'm a rapper. No. Yeah, for the new listeners or viewers, I invented some categories I have at the end of every episode, and usually starts with a good amount of gratitude because I talk a lot about unpleasant topics and struggles, but addressing things I'm happy about and thankful for is important, and at the end of those stressful times keeps my mindset positive and optimistic. So within the last weeks, I'm very thankful for the nice time I had with my boyfriend. If you want to know how that went, check out my social media. Yeah, you know how it is. And also feel very thankful for by now the nice flat situation. Also definitely enjoyed spending more time with my family and our cat since I'm here, and also had a lot of fun with one of my closer friends as we went to Luxembourg. Being in the middle of Europe is really like nice to just see so many places within like a few hours. And yeah, overall I just feel very happy right now, and in comparison to a few days or weeks ago, I feel mentally stable. And I felt so terrible. I mean, maybe that was due to PMS before my period. Maybe, yeah, the hormones. Maybe it was due to the stressful moving situation. Maybe it was saying goodbye to my boyfriend as he stepped into a plane or into a train and then hopped on a plane again. But anyway, most important thing, I'm happy right now again. That is great. And yeah, just feel a lot more calm and thankful for the freedom. Also, with studies I have, and I'm so flexible, and with my studies I explained it before, so go back to get more details about that. But I'm just very flexible in my studies, which is great. And the money topic still stresses me out a bit, but it probably will always do that because of my past with never really having money. And yeah, overall I just feel more happiness than worry right now, and that's great, I think. And the other small category we have, or I have, I don't know if I can already say we, I don't know if we have any relationship to each other, but the other category is smaller, and I always put a song into the blank podcast playlist on Spotify that fits to the topic of the episode. And I love her songs in general and can't help but sing along. One of my friends knows how that looks, yeah, or sounds. But I also think that that specific song of Billie Eilish, "Happier Than Ever," just fits very, very well to, yeah, the current episode, and at least the hook. You know, I'm away from you and now I'm happier than ever. Some statements are way too harsh though, and like I said, I don't want bad blood, but a few lines are true. So yeah. What I also introduced was a cliffhanger, usually every episode, more or less. So something exciting for you to look forward to in the next episode. And today it's me going to a Sam Smith concert with that specific close friend I went to Luxembourg with. He listens to this, so hi. Oh, you're great, by the way. I forgot that. But the problem about that concert is that it's us going there on a Monday from the morning till after midnight. So I might need to upload the podcast earlier so you can't hear about Sam Smith concert next time, or I'll upload it later. I'll have to see how that will work. And to be completely up to date, you can, of course, I don't know how many times I said it, but you can always follow me on Instagram. My stories are usually very up to date. And yeah, in 3 weeks, my brother will also turn 22. Right. Sometimes I forget that. The older you get, the less you pay attention to it. And I guess that will be exciting as well. So some hopefully nice weeks are ahead of me, and I can't wait to tell you about them in the next episode or the episode afterwards. And there might be some struggles too, like right now, really needing to pee. But it's not always as bad as it seems. And it felt good to be back and finally air on YouTube. Hi. Can't wait to do it again. If it didn't turn out too terribly and no one liked it. And yeah, you'll probably see me next time, hear me next time. And the woman at the end of this episode will tell you the last words. So I don't know what recording I'll end first. Probably yeah. Okay, this one. Bye-bye. So, since I talked to you a few minutes ago, more than a few minutes past actually, the sun went down, my eyes maybe look prettier in this light. The angle changed a bit. People on Spotify don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I like to have a snippet at the end. It just thanks you for listening and says, I hope you enjoyed. And I also want to emphasize that I'm open to critique always when you give me some, and if you were not fine with anything I said, or if you were fine, if you want to just tell me anything, maybe have ideas what I could change or things you really liked, then just let me know. On Instagram, my name is Jenny from the blog, so the 2 O's are actually zeros, and at the end it's not a CK but a G. And on YouTube, I would love to have some more people who follow me, only if you like it though. And there my name is Almanek, which is ALMANYC, right? So Alman, German, and NYC. And yeah, if you have anything to tell me, just tell me there. I would be very glad for any kind of feedback. And if you want to, you can also answer the question that is not on YouTube. Now Spotify has the advantage. On Spotify, you can just swipe up and see the question I'm asking you this week. I would love to have you... What was that? There was a flash. Okay, that's fine. We handle it. But yeah, just give me an answer if you want to, if you have a minute. And like I said, I hope it was fine. Hope you enjoyed. And see you next time. Hear you next time. Bye, friends.